All right, hello everyone and welcome. I have the chat function going if anyone wants to leave a request for tonight. But otherwise we're going to start seated tonight, and if you have blocks you might want to use them. They won't be necessary though, so no worries if you don't have them. Well, let's see, tonight we will have our live music class with no music because Matt is unfortunately having some pain in his hand, so he needs to take a break from playing guitar this week, or at least for today. So I'm sorry, I know everyone is going to miss him, but for literally thousands of years, people have been doing yoga without electric guitars. So I think we're going to survive one night without him. He did help me get set up, so he's still with us in spirit. All right, so today I didn't get too many requests, but a theme that I've gotten a lot these last few weeks is just relaxing, kind of calming the nervous system, reducing stress. And so fortunately, pretty much yoga is meant for all of that. Any of the poses, when done with intention, with presence, with focus on the breath, can help with all of that. But one thing that's really helpful in particular is pranayama, or breath exercises. And so one that I'll share with you tonight is called Ujjayi Breath. And I think this is one those of you who've practiced with me before have learned, or if you've taken yoga other places, you might already know this breath. But I know we do have some new people joining, and it's good for everyone to get a little refresher. So Ujjayi Breath. Imagine that you have a mirror in front of your face, and you take a deep breath in, and then you want to fog that mirror. And then if you can try it, imagining that there's a mirror below your nose, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, imagine you're fogging that mirror with your nose. And then see if you can also keep that same quality in the throat, that little bit of restriction on the inhale. And so it's sometimes called the ocean breath because it sounds a little bit like an ocean. And so Ujjayi Breath is great for calming the nervous system. The sound is almost like your own white noise machine or your own sound healing. It can also give a little bit more energy for practice. So if you're in a really challenging pose, you might try the Ujjayi Breath. So for now, we're just going to close our eyes and give maybe 5 to 10 rounds of Ujjayi Breath a try. So when you're ready, let your eyelids come to a close. Relax your shoulders, sit up nice and tall. And then when you're ready, just taking a few inhales and exhales, giving that breath a try. Keep going just like that, a couple more. And so Uj is sometimes translated as upward and Jaya as victory. And so Ujjayi Breath is sometimes referred to as victory over oneself, or kind of the calming of the brainwaves. So less about controlling yourself and more about releasing that which is controlling us. So let's keep that breath going as we move into all fours and take some cat-cow breaths using that Ujjayi Breath. Inhaling to drop the belly, lift the gaze, and exhaling to round in. So just go ahead and move at your own pace. careful not to overarch the lower spine. In some practices on the cow breath, you actually keep your spine a little bit more neutral and try to lengthen. So you can try that as well. You can even try switching the breath. So inhaling on cat and exhaling to lengthen. Come back to center. Keep that Ujjayi breath going as you tuck your toes and lift your hips for downward dog. And once you take a moment to wiggle it out and find your downward dog for today, see if you can come to stillness for maybe 3 deep Ujjayi breaths. Take your time, and on your next inhale, come forward to plank. We won't do too much in plank today, so really give it your all for just a breath or two, pressing down into the earth, strong through your whole body, strong core. And then drop down to your knees and sit back for child's pose. Maybe trying knees together for this first child's pose. Let the head fall wherever it does. And you can let your Ujjayi breath go and maybe just come back to noticing your breath filling up your backside body. With each inhale, creating space. And with each exhale, softening and letting go. Inhaling, creating space in your spine. And exhaling, melting down into the earth. Releasing not just your body, but also anything you don't need. Any worries or fears, let them just settle down into the earth. Just a couple more breaths here. If you haven't already established yourself right in the here and now, you've got a full hour to get there, so no worries. But see if you can take this next couple of breaths to try bringing your mind, your focus here on your breath, on your body. When you're ready, slowly slide your hands towards your knees to come to kneeling. So we'll be on our knees for a couple of minutes. If you know that your knees are sensitive or if you're on hardwood, you could just fold your mat and give yourself some extra support. If you're on carpet like me, you might not need it. So come on up to kneeling. Inhale, arms high to the sky, creating length throughout your whole upper body. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Just a couple breaths here. And on your next exhale, goddess arms, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then drop your hands, clasping them behind your back, stretching your hands away from your shoulders, shoulders away from your ears. Mini back bend, squeezing the shoulders together once more. And then release that back bend, drop your chin down to your chest. So breathe here. I see we've got some comments. I'm just going to check. heart opener. Okay, great. And then slowly roll right ear to right shoulder, breathing here. And then come on over to the other side. And back to center. Stay where you are. You can lift your chin. And I'm just going to turn so you can see me better. Left hand comes to the hip, right hand by the side. You can gaze over your right shoulder and just bending down, right hand reaching towards the floor, left hand coming up towards your armpit. And you can, on the inhale, hold now as long as feels interesting to you, and then on the exhale, come on back. Keep going just like that. So on this pose, we're inhaling as we bend because the stretch is actually the side body. So we're stretching the left side. Let's do 2 more. Go nice and slow. If you haven't already tried it and you feel comfortable, you can maybe see if you can hold the breath for a second or two at the bottom. And you want to keep your elbow in line with your body. So notice if it's bending back like a chicken wing, keep it out to the side. A nice triangle or a shark fin. And back to center. And then just a couple shoulder openers, shoulder rolls. And then move at your own pace. We'll try the other side. So we've done this one standing before, and I thought it would be fun to do on the knees because it really is fun to try the breath retention and see how that feels. But depending on you and what's comfortable for you, you might not want to do that standing if it feels at all dizzy to hold the breath. So I thought kneeling could be a fun way to try. Just a couple more. And last one, come on back to center. Little gentle heart opener to get us started. Inhale, stretch the arms back, chest comes forward. Take a couple breaths here, just gently gazing up at the sky. And then give yourself a hug. Right arm comes on top. And just take a couple breaths here. You can use your fingers on your shoulders or your back, wherever they land. Give yourself a little massage. And then one more time, arms open wide, stretching your heart space towards the sky. And on your next exhale, left arm comes on top. Give yourself a hug. Walk your fingers all the way back as far as they can go. And take a couple breaths here, giving yourself a little massage. Open wide once more. And release arms to your sides. And give your hands a little shake. From here, step your right foot forward. Hands can come to the top of the thigh. And if you have your mat folded below your knee, you might keep it because we'll be here for another minute. And then just begin to shift forward. Hips coming towards your front foot. Trying to keep them square with the front of the mat. And just breathing here, noticing anything that comes up for you. And if you put a little bit of pressure into the back foot, the top of the foot, that will take some pressure out of your knee. So give that a try. And then when you're ready, come down to the floor, or here's where you could use your blocks if you'd like. And then rock back. And this will be a little bit of a choose your own adventure, so you can keep your toes down or lift them up. Or I like to kind of go back and forth a little bit, lifting and lowering the toes. And if you are moving, maybe find a place where you want to stretch for the last couple breaths in stillness. And then shift forward, plant your left hand, right hand comes to the right thigh for a twist, open to the right side. So the Ujjayi breath can actually be practiced all throughout class, and here's a great time to turn it back on if you'd like. And if you're jumping in a little bit late to this class, the Ujjayi breath is just the imagining you're fogging a mirror and keeping that same quality of breath on the inhale and exhale. Stay here if you'd like, or tuck your back toe, lift your foot, and maybe open up wide, right hand to the sky. So this is our revolved low lunge, and we'll try this in a minute, this revolved twist in pyramid as well. So again, if you are feeling a little tight today, you might have a block under the left hand, or you could do this with the chair even and just come to a higher lunge. Come back to center, and just step the back foot in a bit and straighten the front leg as much as you can. Rounding over for pyramid, we'll just breathe here. Maybe coming back to bringing the breath to the back body. Feeling the back of the ribs, the back of your neck, your low back. And then if you liked that revolved lunge, you can try revolved pyramid here. So plant the left hand, and right hand first just comes to the hip, twisting open. And then you can reach the arm to the sky, or you can reach it all the way around, kind of nestling in around your left hip. So that's a good heart opener, opening the right shoulder. Keep long through your neck, and then slowly unwind. Step back for lunge once more. Drop your knee, and then you can just kind of walk back, coming to flag pose once more. Inhale, arms to the sky. And this time, exhale, hands come to heart center. And we'll just shift the weight back. So keeping the spine long, we're not doing camel here. Just begin to hinge back. You'll feel engagement right on the tops of the legs. And just even an inch or two, you might feel it, so you don't have to go very far. But if you are looking for more of a workout, the further back you hinge, the more you'll get. So you might feel your abdominal muscles turning on, fronts of your legs. Just making sure your neck and shoulders are staying relaxed still. And then come on back up, and we'll do the other side. So left foot steps forward, hands come to the top of the leg, and sink down. Breathe here. Turning on that Ujjayi breath if you like it, or maybe it's still turned on. And then bring the hands down to the mat and rock on back. Choose your own adventure here for a moment. And then maybe find stillness for the last couple of breaths. And we'll try that same twisting series on this side, shifting forward, plant the right hand down, and twist open to the left. Gaze over your left shoulder, making sure to keep your neck nice and long. A lot of times we twist with a crunched neck, and that doesn't help much. Couple of deep breaths. And then only if you want to, coming up to high lunge or straight leg here in the back, tucking your toes, lifting your knee, and then maybe reaching left arm up or all the way around. And unwind, come back to center. Take a couple hops to step the back foot in for pyramid. Maybe bringing the breath to the backside, noticing your back ribs, gently opening and closing. Relax your neck. And then plant your right hand. Left hand can come to the hip, or maybe up to the sky, or maybe all the way around. I kind of feel like I have deja vu having just done this in lunge maybe. And then slowly unwind. And this time we're just going to step the back foot forward for a forward fold. Let it all go. Shake your head out, yes and no. And then inhale, lift halfway. Take a couple breaths here with a half lift. And then hands come to your hips, slight bend in the knees, come all the way up. So that's always an option if you don't want to roll up. Some people prefer the roll up, some people prefer the straight back, whatever you feel, whatever back you have today. All right, let's take just a couple of slow, gentle sun salutes. So bring the hands first to heart center, and we'll pause here. You can pick up your toes, give them a wiggle, and then place them back down. Close your eyes and just notice where your energy is going. Is your weight a little bit more in your toes or a little bit more in your heels? Weight in the toes can sometimes mean that our mind is a little bit more in the future. We're worrying or just thinking about what's to come, planning. And weight in the heels can sometimes mean that we're a little bit stuck in the past, maybe retelling stories. And so if we can find that middle place between our heels and our toes, that perfect balance spot, we can also bring our mind into the here and now. Not that it's not great to plan the future or to think about the past, but practicing being in the present will allow us to be focused when we need to be focused. It'll allow us to enjoy the life we have and to see the beauty around us a little bit more vividly. So let's just take 3 silent breaths here, balancing right in this center place. And whenever you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open, reach your arms high to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold, plant your hands. Step back and set up for warrior two. Take your time here, press down into your front heel, and then you can kind of cartwheel the arms open or get there however you like. So we warmed up the legs a little bit, so you might try and see if you can take a deeper warrior two today. No worries if you can. A shallower stance also works great. And then from here, a little fun exercise. See if you can lift and lower the front heel. Just a couple of times. See what muscles that turns on. For me, it's some muscles that I don't use that often, so it's a good kind of diagnostic to see how my muscles are doing in the calf, ankle, foot, and then come on back down. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come back to warrior two. And then we're just going to exhale, cartwheel all the way back down. Step back for plank. Lower down to the knees and all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog. Seeing if you can really shine your chest forward. So again, not bending so much in the lower back, but really reaching forward with the chest. And then drop your knees, shift back, downward dog. Pedal out your feet here. And then transition however you like, but if you want to try a little squat here, we're going to look forward, bend the knees, and then jump to the front of the mat. Heels maybe coming on the mat, toes maybe coming off. And we're just going to come to a little squat, and I'll face forward so you can see what that looks like. You can also do squatting with the toes facing forward. That's kind of hard for me. I kind of fall back when I do that one, but I am practicing getting better at that. I think it's just a little flexibility in the lower calves. But this kind of toes out version also gives you a chance to open through your groin area, inner legs. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands down, straighten your legs, turn your toes in. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And rise to stand. Arms reach. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Close your eyes, take a couple of breaths here. Whenever you're ready, reach your arms high to the sky. Let's take a little back bend this time. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold once more. Plant your hands. Step the right foot back. Set up for warrior two. And then take your sweet time, cartwheeling the arms up and over. Warrior two. So I don't think there's anyone new in the live class, but just in case anyone's new watching, in warrior two, front knee comes right over the heel, and back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. Arms are parallel, nice and strong. Energy is shooting out from the fingertips. Gaze over the front fingers. And if you want to try on this side, just lifting and lowering the heel a little bit. Nice exercise for the calf, good exercise in balance. A little bit of mind over matter too. All right, inhale, straighten your front leg. Lower the arms. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel down for plank. Step back. And then lower all the way down. This time let's take a cobra, keeping your legs peeled together, and lift just the chest. And then from here, let's shift back for child's pose. Maybe a wide knees child's pose this time, but whatever feels comfortable for you. Noticing your backside body if it feels any more open than the beginning of class. And when you're ready, slowly walk your hands back to your knees to come to kneeling. So we're a little over halfway through class, which means it is a wonderful time for a water break. Highly recommend water whenever you're doing yoga, but especially in the summertime. Lately, I've been trying to have 2 of these mason jar mugs when I wake up in the morning before I have anything else, and if I can, before I do anything else. So just kind of focusing on maybe some stretching or just breathing, drinking water, and it feels really good. It's helped my energy a lot. We lose a lot of water when we sleep. All right. Yes, okay. So something fun that we're going to try today. Coming now to all fours, we're going to do a little self-massage. So bring your knees together and then take your right shin and place it on top of your left calf. And now from here, you can just kind of slide your leg up and back, or find one place where you have a tight muscle and just kind of wiggle around. So this is great. I know there are some people who mentioned that they're running, doing other kind of weightlifting and other things. So if you're feeling tight muscles, don't forget you have your own body to use as a masseuse. And then from here, we're going to step the right knee behind the left. So coming to cross-legged, left leg in the front. And we're going to take a couple cat-cow breaths here in this cross-legged version. So notice how that asymmetry feels. If that feels awkward, maybe a dislike for it, seeing if you can breathe into it and try to keep your balance and your focus even while you're kind of throwing yourself off balance with this cross-legged version. And then when you're ready, sit back in between your heels. So this one is not going to work for everyone, but you can also use a block. So I'll demonstrate that just sitting up on a block here, and that can help the knees come together a little bit more. I've got a little space here in between my knees, so it's okay if you do too. Sometimes they're closer together. Depends on how much you've worked out on a given day. And then from here, with the feet right up by the hips, not under them, but just right next to them, you can take your thumbs and do a little press, press, press all the way down the foot. All right, when you feel you've gotten a significant enough foot massage, for me, I can never get enough foot massage, but for the moment, we'll let it go. Come on forward, unwind. And then you might just do a little bit of forward and back here, coming to child's pose and then shifting forward to maybe a version of upward facing dog. And just going back and forth. I'm currently going through this great program called The Artist's Way, which is for writers, but also any type of creative person. And the author always talks about following what's interesting to you. So not so much what you think you have to do, but exploring where there's interest. And so I think the same is true for yoga, with the breath and the postures. Not just doing what's easy, definitely sticking with things that are hard, but following the areas where you have interest. Okay, so coming back up, we're going to do the other side now. So cross left shin over right calf and give yourself a little massage, sliding up and down, and maybe wiggling around anywhere that feels good. And you can just stay here and keep doing this, but if you want to try that cat-cow on this side, cross left leg behind right, and take a couple more cat-cow breaths here. And then when you're ready, come back to neutral and sit back on your block or your mat if you don't have a block. That wasn't well placed. There we go. All right. And notice if one side is different from the other. My knees are even further apart on this one today, but that's all right. I've been at a desk all day, so this is a much needed practice for me. And then once again, you can just take your thumbs and give yourself a little foot massage. So I think I mentioned last week or the week before that I've been studying. I've been back in school for an advanced training for yoga teachers. And this semester we're learning the gastrointestinal system, so it's been interesting. As well as a lot of different types of twists and back bends. The Yoga Sutras. So the Yoga Sutras are kind of the philosophical book that most yogis follow along with, and we are reading chapter 2 of that. You don't really just read the Yoga Sutras though, you really study the Yoga Sutras because each word has so much meaning. Every word of Sanskrit could mean a world of things. And then what else are we learning? The Bhagavad Gita. So I'm curious if anyone's ever read that. I had tried to read it before I was studying to be a yoga teacher years ago, and didn't mean much to me then, but now that I know the context a lot better, I think it's really fascinating. All right, what's next? What's on my agenda? Oh yes, everyone's favorite, pigeon. So first, let's come back to all fours, unwind, and let's take a downward facing dog. If you've got a block, you can push it aside. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. And you can reach one heel to the floor and the other. And then bring the big toes together to touch. Ground down through the right foot. Lift the left foot high. And then step your foot all the way forward. Leg comes through for pigeon. Take any version of pigeon you like here. You can do king pigeon, which is reaching for your back foot. Or if you're feeling it like I am, take a real cozy version, maybe grab a block or a pillow And just rest your head down. So even in these more restorative poses, you can try that Ujjayi breath once again if you'd like. Otherwise, you can maybe start to practice bringing a longer exhale. So in yoga, the pranayamas, the breath exercises, all have different effects on the body. Some are more energizing, like the one we did a few weeks ago with the rapid exhales, the one that was like Kapalabhati, and then others are more relaxing, and pretty much anytime you lengthen the exhale is going to be more relaxing or calming. Not that it will necessarily make you tired, but it's a soothing one, and it is great for doing when you're lying in bed and can't fall asleep. And just a few more breaths here. If your mind has started to wander, just bringing it back. And then whenever you're ready, walking your way back up and shifting your leg back, all fours to downward dog. Big toes come together to touch once more, this time grounding down through the left foot, right foot reaches high to the sky. And shift it all the way through, pigeon on the other side. Choose your own adventure here, any version of pigeon you'd like. So if you are on my email list, then you got an email this week with a meditation that I did. And I spent a lot of time on it. It's a really cool artist, musical artist that I did the meditation to, named Jesse Gallagher. And I made connecting with joy as the theme, which is something that's a little bit more challenging lately for I think a lot of us. And then Matt helped me with the audio, so it sounds really nice. And there's a little reverb, so it sounds a little bit psychedelic and spacey. And if you didn't get an email from me, that means you're either not on the email list or something got entered wrong. So you can feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure you get all the free stuff that gets sent out. All right, well, let's take a couple more breaths here, just really letting go, sinking down into the pose. And then when you're ready, you can slowly walk your way back up. And we'll take a little downward dog, palate cleanser in the middle. And then when you're ready, shifting back down all the way to your belly. So here's a fun little twist on bow pose, which can be a good heart opener, and I think this version of it is too. So bring your right forearm in front of you, kind of whatever angle feels best. And then bend your right foot towards your buttocks. Left hand reaches behind. So now for me, I'm going to put my forearm right in front here. And then press your foot into your hand to rise up maybe just a little bit. Opening your left shoulder. And breathe. And that's it. So your knee might not come as high as it does in regular bow pose, but it's a great opener for the front of the leg, and maybe a little bit of a heart opener too. Maybe on this next inhale, pressing a little bit further. And And then release, coming down to your right cheek. Let it all go. Melting down into the mat, releasing every muscle, every cell in your body, just relaxing. And then we'll try the other side. Left forearm comes in front. Bend the left knee. Reach back for the left foot with your right hand. And you can go right into it. So just press into your hand with your foot. So pressing your foot away from your body. Lifting up just a little bit. Couple more breaths. And then lower down, this time left cheek to the mat. When you're ready, you can slowly roll over onto your back. And if you have a wall or a couch or something sturdy nearby, we're going to do a twist, and I'll show you a version that allows you to use that leverage. So bringing your feet right up against a wall or whatever you have. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Take a couple breaths here, squeezing your knee in nice and tight. And then left knee comes all the way over to the right side. The left hand can reach out in the opposite direction. Maybe right hand comes to the knee, giving it a little weight to bring it down to the floor. And then on your inhale, you can just kind of do nothing, and then on your exhale, press into the wall or whatever you have, and see if you can twist a little bit deeper. So inhale, just filling your body with breath, and exhale, pressing and twisting a little deeper. Twists are great for detoxifying the body and the spirit. They're also good for digestion. So if you're having digestive problems, that first one we did, hugging the knee in, is good, and this one is good as well. And then slowly come on back to center. Straighten both legs. Balance back out in the middle. Maybe reach your arms overhead. And we'll try the other side. Hug the right knee in. And then twist it all the way over to the left side. I've got an obstruction here. I'll have to adjust. And then inhale, creating space. And exhale, maybe press into the wall if you have one. Twist a little deeper. And if you don't have a wall, you can still try that. Inhale, do nothing. Exhale, twist deeper. And just breathing here. Noticing sometimes some fear can come up in twists because we have restriction around our breath. So seeing if you can just be gentle here. And when you're ready on your next exhale, slowly unwind. And then just hug your knees into your chest and rock a little bit side to side. Great. Let's see how we're doing on time. Oh, goes by so quickly. All right, so stay where you are. I'll sit up for a moment. And we are going to move into our final resting pose, Savasana. Someone requested a heart openers, and I'm not sure if we did quite enough, so I'm going to demonstrate a way you might try doing heart opener in Savasana. So I have this handy bolster. You don't need a bolster. You could take a blanket or a towel and roll it up, and then just bring your seat right up to it. Your legs can be out long, they can be crossed, whatever you like. And then just sit back or lean back and then open your arms wide. So this is one of my all-time favorite poses. I love doing it after a stressful day of work. Just kind of helps release everything, the shoulders, the chest. And whichever version of Savasana that you want to choose for today, you can take a moment now to get all the wiggles out and just settle on in. Eyes closed or gaze lowered. And take a moment to just release your entire body down to the earth. Release your eyes, your jaw, your mouth, your whole head, neck and throat, relaxing. Your arms relaxed by your sides, shoulders melting down. Allowing your breath to be gentle, feeling air coming in and out without trying. So Savasana is the one place we don't use Ujjayi breath, so you can let your breath just be natural. Relax your hips, your legs, and your feet. And then bring your awareness to your heart space and just notice what you feel there. A lot of times our emotions can show up in physical sensations. So if you have any physical sensations, see if you can notice what is the shape of that feeling. What is its quality, its texture? Is it fluid like a gas or like water? Or does it feel solid and stuck? If you notice anything, if you have emotions here, what color, what shape do they take? And once you get a sense of what that shape or that color is, see if you can imagine that as a physical thing in your body and just allow it to float up from your chest. So it's hovering right above your body. And see if you can just look in your mind's eye at this shape, this floating figure, and send it some love, some acceptance. Remembering that any anxiety, any tension, any fear that our body creates, it's usually for a good intention to protect us, to keep us safe. And so sometimes we just need to remind ourselves when our mind is in the unreal. So in yoga, our goal is always to move from the unreal to the real. I know for me, most of my anxieties take shape around things that haven't happened yet, that might never happen, things in the past that are no longer happening. And so by taking a moment to just recognize, observe, accept this fear, or this suffering, whatever it is, often we can let it go. It no longer serves a purpose. It's there to teach us something or to tell us something, and once we really observe it and face it, it can sometimes begin to dissolve. On your next inhale, welcoming a sense of peacefulness, maybe a lightheartedness. And on your exhale, letting go. 2 more breaths just like that. All right, I'm going to leave you right here tonight to keep resting, to keep reflecting if you'd like. Thank you so much for coming to class tonight. It's always a pleasure to practice with you, whether you're here live with me right this moment or you're watching it at a later date. Every Tuesday we're here, so please come back and bring a friend. I really appreciate all of the tips and donations. That helps me so much. But it is open for others who are not able to pay, so please let any friends know that are maybe struggling a little bit and could use a little bit of yoga. All right, thank you again, and I hope you have a great week. Namaste.